What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tim and Shipe Show. This is a college football podcast. We're part of the Press Play Podcast Network, and right now we're going to give a shout-out to our two amazing sponsors. First, we have the Loft at Peck's Hall. The Loft at Peck's Hall is a 4,000-square-foot event venue location. It is a beautifully restored location in beautiful downtown Circleville, Ohio. You can have parties there. You can have graduation parties, even though they're really far away, but more like holidays. Anything you want, any event that you have, they can have a group of caterers that will come and help you out. They are just they are pristine, and they are going to be the best place to throw a party if you're in Central Ohio or if you have family coming in from all over. Check out the Loft at Peck's Hall on Facebook and book your next venue there as soon as you can. It is a joy working with these people. We absolutely love them, and we hope that we can just pack their schedule and so that you can enjoy that beautiful location, and they can continue to host events there. So check out the Loft at Peck's Hall
if you
on Facebook.
Need
you will
something taken from one place to another, from California to New York, from Washington to Florida, you need to check out Bella Freights. Bella Freights can get your load dropped anywhere you need it. Anywhere you need it at all. I mean, anywhere in the country that a truck can go, maybe even to Canada. I don't know. Check them out and find out. Reach out to them. Ask them what they need. If you need, I don't know, a car transported somewhere else, if you need a house, get one of those big wide load dump trucks, and I don't know, whatever you need. That's what they do. They can get anything anywhere you need to go. So contact Cessnas and look at their Facebook, Bella Freight. Check it out today, Bella Freight on Facebook. They will get your load dumped anywhere you need it. Check them out today. On with the show.
Could be up to the offensive line. No, Prinzel's going to throw for it. Got to get it off. They go for the ball game. Touchdown! Touchdown! Michael Jacobs! Holy Buckeye! Tebow straight ahead into the end zone, and the Gators have put this one on ice.
Hello, and welcome to the Tim and Shipe Show. This is a college football podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, not them. He's Tim Jones. I'm Aaron Shipe, and we're going to be talking college football, everything about all the biggest games last week, the big games coming up. We're going to make our picks. You're going to see who's in our top four. Some wild things happen in college football this week. So hang tight, stick with us. You're going to enjoy it. Tim Jones, how you living, brother?
Hey man, it's a good week this past week. Obviously, big Florida W for us. Man, it's good. Life is good. How about you?
Yeah, mediocre Buckeye W, but still 3-0. And as Meyer always says, what's 3-0 mean? Or something like that. It's a chance to go 4-0, something along those lines. Yeah, but it is been a good week, been a good and fun weekend. A lot of crazy college football going on. The biggest game of the week was Notre Dame, Clemson. The mighty have fallen. How much stock do you put in the fact that Trevor Lawrence was out? Does that mean a lot to you with Clemson dropping, or do they not drop too far, get a chance of redemption, have a chance to still make the playoffs?
Well, the skeptic in me makes me ask the question. I didn't realize Trevor Lawrence played defense. That's the biggest thing that surprises me is this defense has not played well the last 2 weeks. Not well enough. Not like what you would expect from Clemson. So, yeah, being down their best player, their leader, it hurts.
Potential number one draft pick. So
I still think he is. I think even more so, actually.
Without having a good offense, you put your defense in a lot of tight spots. If you can't move the ball. But honestly, how much better could Trevor Lawrence have played? I mean, they were still slinging the ball around. They were moving the ball. They scored. They were plus 35.
They scored 40 points.
Yeah, they were over our margin of error there, their margin of victory for the offense. So this loss is not on the offense. I mean, it's definitely on the defense. But, man, kudos to that Notre Dame defense. They held Etienne to 28 yards rushing on 15 or 18 attempts or something. He could not do anything. So, I mean, if you can't run the ball, it's hard to win. So Notre Dame might be better than what I especially was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think part of that is, they game plan. Okay, we're not going to let Etienne beat us. We're going to make this freshman quarterback beat us. And he played well. I mean, don't get me wrong. They scored a lot of points too.
Dude's going to be a star.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He is one of the strongest arms I've probably ever seen in college football. I hope that's not like too much to say, but I think it's true. Like, he has an unbelievable rocket for an arm. He's young and experienced, but I think he might be the future of this team, obviously. So, but that's the thing, is both these teams defensively struggled. Offenses played really well. I think ETN struggled because Notre Dame said, we're not going to let a freshman quarterback beat us, or we're going to make a freshman quarterback beat us, not let this experienced running back have a big game. And that's exactly what happened. And, it almost backfired, where Clemson had a chance to win this game, and they couldn't hold on to the end. And then, when they went into overtime, and we all know what happened there. So I do think this game would have been different with Trevor Lawrence, but regardless, your defense has to play better than that.
Yep. All right. So we're in Monday here. So it's kind of an overreaction Monday. I'm going to give you 2 overreactions. You tell me if they're justified or if we need to reel it in a little bit. Okay. Overreaction
right.
Number 1, Notre Dame might be the best team in college football after Saturday.
Complete overreaction. No, I don't think Notre Dame's the best team in football. I think they played a good game. I do think Trevor Lawrence beats them. So I'm not ready to say the best team in the country now. However, they played great. I don't want to take anything away from them, but I still say Notre Dame is actually, ranking-wise, I think they beat the number 2 team in the country. I think you're going to see a reward for that. But overall, I still think if you look at the big picture, at the end of the year, we're going to see they're maybe the 4th, 5th, or 6th best team in the country. They still don't break that top tier.
Okay, overreaction number 2 from that game, Clemson's defense does not have what it takes to win a championship.
I still think that's an overreaction. I think what you saw early in the season to now is a bit of a deflation based on losing Trevor Lawrence, which is weird to say for a defense to be affected by losing a quarterback. But I think it really impacted this whole team. So I do think that they are going to rally. They're going to play better. Brett Venables is a really, really good coach. They've had some injuries as well. That players are going to start coming back and get healthy. Towards the end of the season, they're going to be a better team. I still think they're going to be able to be good enough defensively with Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback to have a chance to win it all.
Okay. All right. I agree with everything you said. That Clemson, they're a better team than what they showed on Saturday. And unfortunately, it looks like we are taking the non-Power 5s and the Big 12 and the SEC out of having 2 teams. I think the SEC will still get 1, but it looks like it's leaning towards the ACC getting 2 teams in the Final 4.
Well, not necessarily, though. These 2 teams could still play each other in the conference championship.
They will, and so Notre Dame has to win.
Has to.
Clemson has redemption. We're which I think they will. I think they're gonna, be hungry for it. So I think, I see 2 AC. It's setting up for Notre Dame and Clemson to be in it. But if Notre Dame doesn't look great, there's a lot of scenarios out there. If there's a team in championship week who just completely dominates the way Ohio State did in 2014, then the loser of that game will be out regardless. So, it's just college football, man. It's the best. It's the absolute best thing happening in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned. So speaking of great things happening in the world, Kyle Trask was slinging it on Saturday, wasn't he? Gosh.
He was. He absolutely was. And that's really, in the second half, I was a little frustrated. I think that they went a little too conservative because he had 4 touchdowns in the first half. It was unbelievable. He had a great game. And, unfortunately, the other Kyle, Pitts, he got absolutely destroyed on a really bad targeting penalty. And I've heard a lot of people coming out this week in the media saying that defender should be suspended for a longer amount of time based on how just dirty that play was.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was necessarily intentional, but it was a really ugly play. We talked about targeting a couple weeks ago. This is the exact play they're trying to get out of college football because that was just a helmet to helmet as hard as you can have it possibly happen. Honestly, the defender got the worst of the contact. But regardless, I think that is what they're trying to get out of the game. I think that what they needed to do is, like we talked about, reevaluate the targeting penalty, but also in that situation, I think there should be an extended suspension because I do think he was going to be out regardless for the rest of that game. Yeah. He probably won't play this week based on the level of concussion that he probably has as a defender. And so Pitts is questionable for this coming weekend. But don't take away from what the offense did in this game as a whole. Tony didn't have a good game. Pitts had a couple of big catches, but that was it. And it was just really just all around. He threw to 9 different receivers in the first half alone. just really showed the depth of this offense as far as receivers who lost. Don't forget, they lost 4 receivers to the NFL last year.
Yeah.
So this is a really deep receiving core, tight end core. I mean, none of them are as good as Pitts, but all around they have really good depth offensively. And, more importantly, I think defensively, this team stepped up.
Yeah. This Gator team is looking scary. It seems like they've rebounded from their loss, and they're going to be tough for anybody.
Yeah, and this is what I was hoping for. This is what we talked about early in the season, where this team has to get better as the season goes on, continue to develop, get better and get better, get better. And that's what Dan Mullen talked about this week too. That's what he's preaching to his team is this isn't good enough. This isn't where we peak. We got to continue to get better every single week. That's what champions do. And that's what this team is hungry. This team is focused on that. It's not about beating Georgia. It's way bigger than that for this team. And we talked about at the very beginning of this season, it is about winning the conference championship. That's what this team is focused on week in and week out. Getting to the conference championship game. It looks like they're going to be playing Alabama, which is never an easy game. But this team is hungry for that. They want to focus on each individual week to get to that end of the season, play Alabama in the conference championship, and get to the playoff. That's what this team is focused on right now, and nothing else is good enough.
So something that Ohio State fans are worried about is, we have Maryland, Indiana, Illinois, some really soft teams coming up. And so Ohio State fans I don't know if we're worried. I think we believe in Ryan Day enough, but it's in the back of our mind that we're going to try to put it in cruise control, and a game is going to come up and sneak up on us and bite us. You worried about that with Florida at all? Or the fans, are they worried about that in Swampville?
Well, I think this game against Arkansas this weekend is a big deal because of Felipe Franks is at Arkansas now, and this team with Felipe Franks is a lot better than people expected him to be this year with the new coach. And so this is a big deal because, Franks is going to come in. He wants this game more than anything. Like this is, his old team in the swamp. He is hungry. He's going to want this game. So we got to survive against Arkansas. But the rest of the season, Florida will be favored. The schedule is pretty easy. I think the biggest test and the biggest trip-up game is going to be Tennessee, because Tennessee has shown to not be as good as we expected, but Tennessee always wants to beat Florida. There's a long-standing, conference east side of the SEC. A little bit of a rivalry. I mean, Tennessee has not been good for quite a while, but, Florida's beaten them a lot recently, but still, they always want to beat Florida. And this year I heard a lot of trash from the beginning of the season from these Tennessee players. And it's almost like the little brother thing where it's like, who are you? Like, you don't even talk to us. But I do think that that's going to be a test where I think if we're not ready for that game, that could trip us up. But other than that, I'm not worried at all. I still think if Florida loses again the rest of this year, going to the conference championship, it's because we beat ourselves.
Yeah, I felt you tiptoeing around the word rivalry. Like you didn't want to quite throw it out, but it eventually was like, it's kind of a rivalry.
It's not really a rivalry. It's like one of those in division games where you play each other every year, and we don't like each other. I mean, I'll say Florida fans don't like Tennessee fans, and Tennessee fans don't like Florida fans, and that's okay. That's part of the fun of it, And so it's not a rivalry at this point. It's not like the Georgia and Florida State type of matchup, but Tennessee's always been one of those teams we don't like playing against. I probably wouldn't go to a Tennessee game with like a Gator tag on my car, because you just never know what's going to happen while you're gone.
Oh,
so is that kind of the fans we're not friends. I'll put it that way.
So is it because of recruiting? Is it just because of a history? What's the background here on this?
It's a history. I mean, it goes all the way back to Philip Fulmer and Spurrier weren't big friends. Going back to our good friend, the Ole Miss coach over there, Kiffin, when he was at Tennessee for that year, and he trash talked and said all these things about Urban Meyer being a cheater and recruiting, and he had to come back and apologize and say that he was wrong and shouldn't have said those things. So throughout the years, there have been a lot of opportunities for people to say things they shouldn't say, and just it's created a little bit of a fan rivalry more than on the field.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, speaking of Kiffin, I wish we did every now and again we brought back Kiffin's Corner from season 1, because he had some amazing tweets these last few weeks where he got fined. He's tweeting about how he's going to pay it back in pennies. Like, this guy, he's amazing. We need to bring that back. Just maybe a special drop in when he does crazy stuff. But anyway, so crazy stuff was happening at Ohio State in the shoe, and so Ohio State goes up 49-9, I think, in the fourth quarter. We go into the fourth quarter up a ton, and the game ends 49-27. Now, Ohio State was playing a lot, trying to get some depth at defensive back. This is actually one of the times where I am not going to overreact. I think we showed who we were, that we were doing whatever we wanted in the first half, and then in the fourth and into the third quarter, really. But then Ryan Day went conservative, starting to run the ball a little bit more, and man, our running game. Oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, none of our running backs can get going. Teague had one touchdown. Trey Sermon, that experiment's over. Ryan Day, get him out of there. Time to take him out of any type of rotation. Maybe he can catch something out of the backfield or something, but he's slow. He's slow. He runs high. He doesn't get his shoulder pads down. He gets tackled after the first hit. Done. I'm done with you, Trey Sermon. Let's Master Teague. I think he's a third down back, and Steel Chambers and Damari McCall need to get more attention. Steel Chambers. Sorry, something on my screen popped up. Steel Chambers, dude lights up the screen when he runs. I mean, he's the next big thing, next big running back at Ohio State. I don't know why they're not showing him as much, but they need to get him the ball more. He does have some tendencies lately to put the ball on the turf, which might be why we're not seeing him very much. He lost a fumble, and that's his second fumble of the year, and with his limited playing time. So maybe it's a ball control thing, that why they're not putting him on the field. But we need to do something. Our running backs are just not seeing it. They're not seeing the holes, and they're not breaking tackles. They're getting tackled by the first guys most of the time. It's just not good. And our DBs, even Sean Wade. Sean Wade reminds me a lot of Bradley Roby. I think I said this last week, where he's playing timid. He should have just went pros. I feel like if you're going to put him on the best guy, he's our best cornerback, and so they're putting him on the best wide receivers, and he's getting embarrassed. His stock is dropping off quick because he's playing timid. He needs to play fast. He needs to play strong, and I think he can. I just don't know what's going on. So our DBs need work. They need help. And that's a lot of why we saw that fall off in the fourth quarter. Don't get too alarmed. There's not an offense in the country that can keep up with our offense, all the weapons we have. So there's no team in the – like you said, if Ohio State loses, it's going to be because they beat themselves, not because any team on the field is better than them. I'm not worried about anyone because, like I said, our defense is better than most, and our offense is the best in the country. So we're going to be able to keep up, stay pace, especially with everyone in the Big Ten. But every game that Ohio State plays, it's not can they keep up with teams in the Big Ten. It's our measuring stick is can they keep up with the Alabamas, Clemsons, and apparently Notre Dames of the world, because that is who we're measuring. That's the measuring stick of this season. So there's my rant.
Well, and Shipe, it looks like to me, the eye test says Ohio State relaxed in the second half, especially going into the fourth quarter. And that's not unusual, and that's okay. But my question is, does it help or hurt Ohio State's offense that they had to keep Justin Fields in the game pretty far into the fourth quarter?
He was the only quarterback that played.
Yeah, I mean, does that help or hurt them? I know to get the experience, get the playing time, but the other side is risking injury and not getting those young quarterbacks in the game. I
mean, especially in the COVID years, you got to get those young quarterbacks in the game. But it's almost like Ryan Day doesn't quite trust those guys because they're not getting playing time unless the game is well in doubt. And you almost start to believe we didn't take a knee because we didn't have the guys out there to take the knee. It's like, are they going to fumble the snap? Like, it's almost like he just doesn't trust these guys where they're at right now. So I think it does hurt them in the long run, because even if you don't trust them, you need to get them out there when the game is when the game is no longer in question. And Maryland was being gimmicky. An offensive lineman scored a touchdown. Like they were really gimmicky, really just – it was just weird. They're trick play after trick play, just trying to, do whatever they can to get points. And, how are you supposed to defend that? I mean, you can't have everybody everywhere guarding offensive linemen. Like it was gimmicky.
Yeah. It wasn't my thing was when it was 42-21 after it was 12 minutes left, that's when Rutgers scores a touchdown, and that forces Ohio State to keep Fields in the game at that point because it's too close. There's too much time left. And that's where I was like, oh, this is good for me because of our bet against the spread. But Yeah, I mean that's where if you can this next game or 2 or 3, even if Fields gets nicked up and they have to bring somebody else in for a couple plays, I mean that's scary to think
It's
that
worrisome.
you don't trust. First of all, you already don't trust your running game that much,
Right.
and now you're saying you have to trust a quarterback who has almost basically no experience, who the coach has made it pretty clear he doesn't have a lot of confidence in them either. So you're really going all in on Justin Fields this year, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, the coaches are too. They know that he's the golden goose. That's why he doesn't have any interaction with anybody outside of the Ohio State facility. He is going home, lives by himself. He goes to the Woody. He goes back home. Like they're saying stuff about his dog because that's the only company he gets during all of this. When he goes home, that's the only thing he sees is his dog. Like he is the golden goose, and Ryan Day knows that. He's got to protect Justin Fields. He's the key to us winning the championship this year if we're going to. He has to stay healthy.
So where does that leave us in this matchup against Maryland?
Yeah, Maryland, Tagovailoa kid, like it's honestly like the spread's 25.5, but man, Maryland's scoring points. They're looking sharp. They just put a whooping on Michigan. So, I mean, it's not the cake game that Maryland has been in the past. Like they have good players out of that area. I mean, that's where Chase Smith came from. That there have been some really, really good players out of that Maryland area that Ohio State has been able to take advantage of, but a lot of them stayed. So that it's not going to be the cakewalk that Maryland has been in the past, and honestly worries me a little bit because they are capable of scoring points, and they're going to open up their playbooks, and just like every other team, they want to beat Ohio State bad.
I feel like you want to make your pick. Do you want to make your pick right now? Because I feel like you're at that point.
You want to go into it?
Yeah, I feel like you're there. Like you're there.
Yeah, sure. So number 3, Ohio State at unranked Maryland, but they just came off beating a ranked Michigan team. We'll use ranks in quotes when we talk about Michigan from last week because they are ugly. Oh, we could talk about that forever. How bad Michigan is. Harbaugh sticking around next year?
I don't know why. I don't know how. I really don't.
Yeah.
Unless they just don't believe there's anybody out there who can do better, but I don't know how anybody could do worse.
Yeah, they're in danger of not being 500 this year. They might win 4 games when you look at their schedule. Michigan is hurting. I think Michigan will keep Harbaugh, but I think Harbaugh is not going to want to stick around any longer. I think he's out. Because he still has one more year on his contract. Harbaugh's contract's up next year, $9 million. So, yeah. Anyway, they're paying like $2 million per win this year. It's going to be crazy.
I like when you say it like that. It sounds like it's so good.
All right. Anyway, so number 3, Ohio State at Maryland. The spread is 25.5. And I said last week I was probably going to take Ohio State against the spread every time, but I'm actually going to take Maryland this week.
Oh, see, I'm not.
Going Ohio State?
I'm taking Ohio State.
Oof.
Yeah, well, and I see why you would, because I went back and looked at Maryland this year. So their outlier is that I think it's the outlier. They've only played 3 games, but they lost to Northwestern 43-3.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if that's the inexperience of Tua's little brother or if that is how good Northwestern is. I'm not sure yet. But after that, they put 45 up last week, and they scored 35. 2 weeks ago, and last week they scored 35 against Michigan in a blowout. Mm-hmm. So they've shown like
they can score points.
Tualia, I think it's Taualia. I don't know how you say his name.
Taualia, Tagovailoa. I don't know.
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty impressive so far. But I think this is Ohio State's chance to kind of wake up and say, all right, we got to blow them out early so we can get those reps in. So I expect Ohio State to come out on fire on the road and to put up 4 quick touchdowns in the first quarter and then just kind of, do enough to be able to keep scoring, to get it in the second half, to get some of those reps in for those younger guys. So I'm going to pick Ohio State to win by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer. 24, I could see a 24-point game. I don't think Ohio State's going to run away with it because even if they do go up big, they're going to be bringing in, like we said, they're going to be trying to build depth. They're going to be bringing in the second, third, fourth string guys just to build that depth, get playing time out there. So I go with Maryland on this one for not a close game. I don't think 24 points is close, but 25.5 is a lot to give a Maryland team.
And I'll say from the beginning, but this is my least confident of the 3 picks we're making tonight.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I just went going with it because I was like, I went against Ohio State last week. I was real nervous because they were up so big, and then they let Rutgers kind of come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to ride them this week, and if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be that upset.
Okay. Give me the lead. Anyway, real quick, we kind of jumped right into this, but with these picks, if this is your first time listening, Tim and I make these picks against the spread every week. The loser, it's on a tiered system. If we're tied right now, but if Tim wins by the end of the season, then I have to buy tickets for him and I to go to a Florida game, and I have to go to Florida to watch the game, him and I. If I win, he just has to buy me a jersey. But so that's kind of where we're at. It's because I haven't won any. This is Tim's going for 3 in a row, and I am just scratching and clawing trying to get my first W here with these picks against the spread.
Yeah, well, and last week, Rutgers was Ohio State was giving Rutgers 38 points, and I just thought that was too many. And thankfully, Ohio State bailed me out and let me win that one after, I, for whatever reason, had enough faith in Michigan to think they beat Indiana, and I was wrong, bad on that. So you had a 1-point lead early in the day.
Yeah.
And I was getting nervous at 8 o'clock when it was, I don't know what time it was, 9 o'clock when it was a blowout on Ohio State side. I was like, man, am I going down 2 tonight?
Yeah. But the good part is Ohio State's fight song continues to roll week after week because we keep being tied. And we carry over the ending fight song. The winner of the picks each week, their team, Tim being the Florida fan, me being Ohio State, gets to take us out with our fight song. So Ohio State again this week. And
this is by far the closest you've ever been at this point in the season.
It is. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. So our next game, Arkansas at number 6, Florida. Florida favored by 17.5, Tim. Who you going with here?
So like I said, I think Felipe Franks is going to come in really, really motivated to play well and to win. And I think there were some plays in that Georgia game where if Georgia had a quarterback who could pass the ball accurately at all, they had a couple chances to get some wide open receivers that just didn't get the ball to them. And I think Franks is going to play better than that. So I think Florida's going to win this game, but 17.5 is too much for me in this game with Franks coming in. So I'm going to pick Arkansas to cover that spread.
And I'm going to go Florida on this one. That's 2 games, 2 out of 3. We're only doing 3 this week. So, I got Florida winning big. Last but not least, number 23 Northwestern at Purdue. Purdue coming off the bye week basically because of Wisconsin's COVID issues. So they've had 2 weeks to prep, and Northwestern's still favored by 3. And I'm going with Purdue. You have 2 weeks to rest up, 2 weeks to get healthy, 2 weeks to watch film. And we saw that even Florida with their 3 weeks off didn't get fatter or slower. And so I don't expect Purdue to do any of that. So give me Purdue in that one to probably win this. I think Northwestern's silly little 3-0 run is going to be over.
Okay. And I'm going Northwestern.
Oh,
here's why.
Man.
Here's why I'm doing that. Because Purdue has beaten Iowa and they have beaten Illinois.
Did you see Iowa's game last week?
No.
Iowa looked
Iowa.
really, really good. And so for Purdue to beat them speaks volumes to me.
Well, I don't trust either of those teams. I think Northwestern is a better team, especially defensively. So I'm going to pick Northwestern. Give them those. They can take those 3 points. So they've got this. That's fine.
Nope.
I think Northwestern will win this game by 10.
So somebody's stepping out this week. Somebody's going to potentially win 3, even if we split 2-1. Somebody's taking the lead. And
I feel pretty good about winning 3.
I also feel pretty good about winning 3. All right. Hey, let us know what you think about our picks. Give us a like, follow, comment on basically Facebook. I don't really check even Instagram or Twitter anymore. We have accounts there, but we're not there. So check us out on Facebook. Give us a like, follow, comment. We'd love to interact, talk with you, and give us a like on our show screen. That bodes well for our sponsors and our hopefully potentially more sponsors as we continue to rock and roll and be the best that we can be, best analysts of college football. That's what we are. So we want to continue to grow, and we want you to enjoy our show. But give us a like, follow, comment on Facebook. We'd love to see it. All right, let's close out our show here, Tim, with our top 6. Who's in for Tim Jones? I'm sure things are shaking up a bit on the front. Are you going to go with the AP on this, Tim?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention to that, to be honest. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I heard some rumors, but I'm not really worried about them.
Okay.
Because they're all ridiculous anyway, with the rankings. So I'll start with you want me to go all 6 right now or just top?
We'll go one by one. Who's your number 1?
Okay. I put Alabama as my number 1 this week.
Okay. All right. I have Ohio State, basically because of home field bias. But really, my top 2 could be interchanged in either way. So as of right now, it's Ohio State.
Okay. My number 2 right now is Notre Dame, completely based on the big win they got against number 1. Okay. I don't know if they can – I think they'll be able to win out the rest of their games this year, and then they'll play Clemson again in their conference championship.
My number 2 is Alabama. I think, they're dominant in the SEC. They are the team in the SEC to beat. And the SEC, the best conference this year, it's hard to put Alabama not at number 1.
All right. And I put Ohio State at number 3 based on the fact that they have not played anyone good and the fact that they did not absolutely dominate records like they should have this past week.
That's fair enough. Notre Dame for me, number 3. They did beat the number 1 team, but I have no faith in Notre Dame to do any of such thing again the rest of the season.
Okay. My number 4 is Florida. Big win against Georgia, neutral site, and they have a clear path now to the conference championship.
Georgia's not that good. I know that I'm speaking in hyperbole again, and they're a good team, but they are far and away the most overrated team that we've seen this year, except maybe Penn State.
There you go. I was hoping.
My number 4 is still Cincinnati. That's right. I'm still holding on hope. Even though they dropped one in the AP poll, they're still winning big, and I think they deserve a shot. They deserve a shot.
All right. My number 5 is Clemson. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence being out severely affected them this past couple weeks. Get Lawrence back, I think it's going to hype them up. They're going to win out the rest of the season without any concerns whatsoever.
Yep. And I have Florida and then Clemson. So I got Florida 5, Clemson 6.
Okay. And I have Cincinnati number 6. So our top 6 are the same, just different order.
Just different order. Yeah. Yeah. So, boy, we should – never mind. I won't make this more complicated than it has to be. So those are our top 6. Who's in for us? Ohio State, Bama, Notre Dame, and mixed or match that 4th spot. Like I said a couple weeks ago, it's going to be a pretty fluid 4th spot. And I think Clemson's going to sneak in there, and it's going to be Notre Dame, Clemson. That's my crystal ball projection right now. So, Tim, final thoughts. What'd you think about college football? What are you looking forward to the most going into next week?
I'm excited to see, I guess, Felipe Franks come in and not do well, hopefully, and just Florida continue to roll.
Yeah, I hope that happens as well because I picked Florida to win by 17.5. So go Bucks, and that's it for us, folks. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. He's Tim Jones. I'm Aaron Shipe. This is the Tim and Shipe Show, and I hope you all have a great week and a wonderful weekend. Check you next time.
And go Gators.